In this morning's Health Watch, the health of the world's shark population. No matter what we think of Jaws, the truth is that shark attacks are quite rare. And even some of those rare victims are reminding us that sharks are much more likely to be eaten by people than the other way around. More than 73 million sharks are killed by fishermen each year, mainly for their fins. Scientists now estimate that 30% of shark species are close to extinction. It's no surprise that conservation groups are concerned, and some unlikely advocates have emerged. Paul de Gelder, a diver for the Australian Navy, was attacked by a bull shark in Sydney Harbor last year. He lost his right hand and his lower right leg. Debbie Salamone, a journalist and dancer, was swimming in Cape Canaveral in 2004 when a shark bit her foot, severing her Achilles tendon. And in 1997, Michael Coots lost part of his right leg to a shark while surfing off the Hawaiian island of Kauai. And Debbie and Michael and Paul, along with 7 other victims, are going to be visiting the United Nations today, calling for stronger protection of sharks worldwide. Good morning to you all.
Good morning.
When people see you and they say, oh, now hang on a minute, you were attacked by a shark and now you're advocating for sharks, that really is, they must be very surprised.
Well, yes, it is the ultimate story of irony and forgiveness. But when you think about these statistics, it's very frightening for the health of our oceans. And so we need to end finning. We need a halt to fishing for these threatened and near-threatened species.
Right.
And we need countries to come up with good global shark conservation plans to have some limits on shark fishing, because there are no limits right now.
Right. Tell me a little bit about your story. You were surfing, right?
Surfing.
You're in Kauai. You're 18 years old.
Yeah.
And tell me more about your experience.
Well, it was early morning, paddled out with some friends. Surf was pretty fun. Sat out there, everybody caught a wave, and I was by myself. Nice one came. As soon as I made a paddling motion for it, a large tiger shark came up vertically. It wasn't like in Jaws where you see the fin coming at. It just grabbed onto me, did the ragdoll thing. Out of instinct, I punched it a couple times. And as soon as I hit it, let go, went back underwater, disappeared, looked at my finger, saw blood, was like, ah. Got on my board, started paddling in, and my leg started doing this weird shake, and I thought the shark was still trying to chomp after me, and looked over my shoulder, and my leg was just gone, completely severed. Never felt it come off.
You should be the last person in the world, then, who would be advocating for conservation of sharks and for sort of elevating sharks to not being demons, but being part of the health of our planet. Why are you on board?
Yeah, well, these guys contacted me and they gave me some numbers, and I had no idea about, like, I think most of the general population doesn't know about shark finning, and I was just baffled and felt really, in my position to do something positive about it and feel, that I can open up doors with my story, and why not, Yeah.
Paul, I guess you would be almost like the equivalent of a Navy SEAL here in the United States. You're a special ops guy. You're out there. You're doing training. Tell us what happened to you.
So I spend most of my time in and around the water because of my job, and it was about 7 in the morning in Sydney Harbour, and we were conducting some counter-terrorism trials. I was just swimming on the surface, and a shark came out of nowhere, grabbed me by my hamstring, and I tried to go for the eyeball, but my hand was in its mouth as well, so I couldn't.
That would slow that process down.
Yeah. So I tried to go it with my left hand, go for the eyeball, couldn't reach, tried to punch it, tried to get it off me, and I think I just upset it. It took me underwater, shook me around, brought me up, took me back down, and then it was gone.
Yeah. Of all of you, you may be the one who's luckiest just to be alive. I mean, he had his way with you.
Yeah, basically 1 centimetre close to my femoral artery, and I would have bled out in the water, and I basically nearly died twice on the way to the hospital.
So you hear about this then, and you are maybe really the most unlikely of all to be an advocate for sharks.
Well, it's a respect thing. It's not a fear thing. And when the Pew Environmental Group contacted me, that was a really humbling experience, because I do a little bit of work in Australia, but to be able to come over here on a worldwide scale, go to the UN and work with these wonderful people, that's amazing. So you try and make a difference worldwide.
Right. You were attacked, you're at Cape Canaveral, you're in the water, a couple of feet of water, it just goes right down for your Achilles. Took a long time for rehabilitation. Had this ever occurred to you before this accident happened to you?
No, in fact, I I really didn't know the plight of sharks too much.
Right.
After the attack, I was plotting my revenge. I wanted to eat shark steaks. I was not happy. And so eventually, though, I saw it as a test of my commitment
Sure.
to environmental conservation and joined the Pew Environment Group, which is a global shark conservation campaign.
And normally with the sharks, they just take the fins, they throw the rest of it away? Is that what happens?
Exactly. They slice off the shark's fins and dump the animal, sometimes still alive, back in the water where it drowns or bleeds to death. And fishermen can fetch up to $300 per pound for these fins, which are used mostly as a soup ingredient in Asian markets.
Wow.
So we're hunting some of these species to extinction, which is very bad for the ocean ecosystem because we need sharks as a top predator to keep the food chain in check.
Hard to not listen to your story. Thank you both, and excuse me, thank you all for being with us today. We really do appreciate
Our
you
pleasure.
Thank you.
coming by.
Yeah.
You bet.